50 years ago, around the time Gary Cooper was playing this down-and-out American everyman in Frank Capra's Meet John Doe, the U.S. Treasury Department reported that the actor was America's #1 wage earner for 1939 at $482,891. Gary Cooper had already been a top star for over a decade and would continue that way for another 20 years. Shortly before Cooper died in 1961, author Carl Sandburg referred to him fondly as one of the most beloved illiterates this country has ever known. Frank James Cooper was a first-generation American born May 7, 1901, to English parents in Helena, Montana. Grew up partly on ranches, partly among the gentry in England. Showed talent as a cartoonist, but wound up broke in L.A. and got extra work in pictures as a cowboy. By the time he was 26, Cooper was starring in B-westerns. He had only one scene in this, his fifth picture, Wings, but the fan mail just poured in. The movie won the first Oscar for Best Picture. A casting director who came from Gary, Indiana, had suggested Cooper change his first name, Frank, to Gary because, she said, it was more exciting. Well, Cooper figured he'd give it a try. He said, "Good thing she didn't come from Poughkeepsie." The two pictures that assured Gary Cooper's early stardom were this Joseph von Sternberg film, Morocco, which in 1931 first introduced Marlene Dietrich to American audiences, and this 1932 adaptation of Ernest Hemingway's best-selling novel, A Farewell to Arms, co-starring Helen Hayes and Adolphe Menjou, directed by Frank Borzage. It was the first Hemingway film and Cooper's 32nd feature.
You took the baby. That was all right. But don't let her die. Please. Please. Dear God.
Throughout the 30s, only Clark Gable rivaled Cooper's popularity, and by the end of the decade, particularly after Frank Capra's Mr. Deeds Goes to Town in 1936, Cooper had come to represent to the world the idealized American hero. Orson Welles once described to me his experience of watching Cooper being filmed for a scene. "I was certain they'd have to retake it," he said. "There didn't seem to be anything happening at all. But when I saw the shot on film, there were these extraordinary moments and nuances which, standing not more than 10 feet away, had been invisible." Cooper was an actor the camera adored. And so did the public, as Cooper achieved the pinnacle of his success in 1940 and 41, first with Capra's powerful anti-fascist movie, Meet John Doe, co-starring Barbara Stanwyck, and then winning his first of 2 Academy Awards as Best Actor for his performance of the real-life World War I hero Alvin C. York from Kentucky in Howard Hawks' Sergeant York.
Well, I'm as much again killing as ever, sir. But it was this way, Colonel. When I started out, I felt just like you said. But when I hear them machine guns are going and all them fellers are dropping around me, I figured that them guns was killing hundreds, maybe thousands. And there weren't nothing anybody could do but to stop them guns. And that's what I done.
That same year, almost as a mark of Cooper's versatility within his persona, saw the release of perhaps his best comedy performance as the shy and innocent professor to Barbara Stanwyck's brazen showgirl, again for director Howard Hawks, in Ball of Fire, co-written by Billy Wilder.
I, too, have been acutely aware of your presence.
You have?
Twice, to be exact. Once when you leaned over my shoulder to correct my spelling of the word boogie-woogie, I could feel your breath on my ear. And yesterday afternoon when you happened to stand against the window with the sunlight in your hair.
Though he was perhaps most famous as the laconic Westerner from High Noon who supposedly said either yup or nope, Cooper's true image was essentially as a man of stoic integrity. Whether he was a scientist, as here in Fritz Lang's 1946 thriller Cloak and Dagger, for which Lang said Cooper did this grueling fight scene without a double, or as a totally uncompromising architect in the highly stylized King Vidor version of Ayn Rand's The Fountainhead, co-starring Patricia Neal. She and Cooper evidently fell in love on the film, but Cooper was already long married. 13 years and 24 pictures later, he died from cancer at the age of 60. He'd always wanted to be thought of as a right guy, and that's how he was eulogized around the world. A Roman newspaper editorial said that with Cooper's passing, a certain kind of American innocence had ended forever.
The meek can only inherit the earth when the John Does start loving their neighbors. You better start right now. Don't wait till the game is called on account of darkness. Wake up, John Doe. You're the hope of the world.